About this crisis with Lieutenant General Mark Hertling.
We're also joined by CNN Global Affairs analyst and contributing writer for the Daily Beast, Kimberly Dozier. Thank you all so much for being with us. You know, Kimberly, I want to bring up an article that you wrote recently or co-wrote in the Daily Beast last month. You said that ISIS is emerging as such a major draw for the new generation of jihadis that it's challenging the old al-Qaeda leadership for prestige, personnel, and funding. How strong do you believe ISIS truly is?
Well, intelligence officials say it is one of the scariest developments they've seen in a decade. ISIS is becoming a major draw for militants across the region, and now that the U.S. is targeting them with airstrikes, unfortunately, this means they've graduated to the militant big leagues. They have become powerful enough to be a threat to the great Satan, as the U.S. is referred to by jihadist groups. And we're seeing the results of that. They're becoming a draw for more and more young men across the area.
General, we have heard over the past couple of days concerns about mission creep, actually, since the advisors were sent in. Congressman Keith Ellison just articulated that moments ago. We had an expert on this morning, Sajar Gohel, who said that that's something we should watch out for as this mission changes. Is mission creep inevitable here as this goes on for months?
Well, Victor, we're going to have to continue to reassess over and over again. But I keep hearing this term mission creep, and I don't think it's been defined quite well. There's a lot of people who are afraid of it, and they don't really know what it is. But I think General Austin has a very good view of what's going on in northern Iraq. He's been the guy placed in charge of this. He's very familiar with the area. He spent many years of his life in Iraq. So I think the directives by the president right now, as he restated yesterday, have some very firm constraints and restraints on the military options. And again, this is a situation that cannot be won by the military alone. There's got to be other aspects of this, the diplomatic piece, the economic piece, the international messaging piece. All of these things are part of the power which will eventually resolve this situation. It can't be military alone. So that's a long way around answering your question. I'm sorry for that, but you just can't define mission creep very easily in this situation. We will continue to I'm sure the military and the government will continue to reassess on a daily basis what's going on, and the protecting of American citizens and the stopping of humanitarian disasters are the two things that are foremost on the mind of the military commanders in the area.
You know, one of the things that has come up a lot in the last week or so, a lot of people asking how much did President Obama, the administration, the intelligence community know about ISIS's strength early on. And the president addressed that yesterday when he was asked, did you underestimate this group? And he said that ISIS did move more rapidly than they had expected. So, Kimberly, my question to you is, how much confidence do you put in the intelligence community moving forward based on what we know?
You've got to look at it from their perspective in that they were first studying ISIS in Syria before ISIS had both crossed the border in an area of ungoverned space that was being pretty much unwatched, and then they joined with members of the former Iraqi military, their intelligence and their top generals. So that has strengthened ISIS, added to their ability to move like an army. They've also picked up weapons from Iraqi army depots that they've overrun. So that's why you've got their strengthening force. They're getting stronger as the weeks go on. Now with U.S. airstrikes, we hear that they're becoming one of the most popular groups in the area, so they're getting new recruits among the Sunnis in Iraq and beyond. So you're only going to see this pick up pace. But one of the things that they may have made a mistake on, a strategic mistake on, is giving the U.S. this example of these Yazidis, this ethnic group caught on a mountaintop. That made it pretty much easier for the White House to explain to the American people, here's a black and white, clear case of people in need that we can help. And now they've put in place a situation of airstrikes that can go on for quite some time. We could be seeing this for the next year or so, and that will in turn strengthen Iraqi and Kurdish forces on the ground.
General, help us better understand the resources that ISIS has. I mean, we know these airstrikes are coming from the F-18s, but if additional resources are sent to Iraq, do they have any anti-aircraft weaponry? What do they have?
Well, I don't want to go into the operational considerations for two reasons. First of all, we don't want to tip our hands, and secondly, I don't know them all. But I think, as Kimberly mentioned, we knew a lot of what was going on. Recently retired last week, Lieutenant General Mike Flynn briefed Congress on this back in January, saying that ISIS was growing in strength. But I think, talking to what Kimberly said, their primary resource is people. They have co-opted a lot of the Sunni tribesmen early on. But I think you'll begin to see splits now that they have continued with such horrific actions. And it's not only against the Yazidis, but some of the films that are coming out of Vice Media now showing multiple large-scale genocide, large-scale murders of former Iraqi security forces, which they are very proud of. Some of these young men that they're killing and putting on films are sons of the tribes of northern Iraq. And I think while it was a marriage of convenience early on with some of the Sunni tribesmen, the former Baathists, this group is even too rough for them. You're going to continue to see splits, but at the same time, you're going to see a lot more jihadis join from other parts of the world. This is an extremely complex situation, and again, the military part of this is only one way to solve it. There's got to be a formed government effort in Iraq to address this, and as I said during the last hour, there's also got to be some Islamic leaders standing up and saying we have to stop this kind of violence. We need those kind of leaders to stand up beyond Grand Ayatollah Sistani, other leaders that need to say, stop this is madness.
Yeah, I mean, there's even allegations that CNN has not confirmed, but allegations of some horrid brutality against children by ISIS as well. So we thank you so much, General Mark Hertling and Kimberly Dozier, for being with us.
Thank you both.
We need to get to some breaking news in the racing world this morning as well.